Hey guys, this is the Real Quaid with another Poison Gym Challenge video. This time I have a rematch against Dryadne. So I've seen his team before. He decided to sub out his Quagsire and I forget who he had before. He's brought in Tyranitar and Infernape, basically is the short of it. So he's got a pretty diverse team. I decide again to lead with Zoroark. Um, because he will put me in the most favorable position. So I'm hoping if it if I need to, I can U-turn out. I'm hoping it doesn't come to that. Um, so he starts off with his Breloom, which I'm a little worried about because I'm not sure what its set is. The last time we battled, he was one-shotted by Nidoking at the end of the battle. So I still don't know if he's got a Focus Sash, or if he's a Spore Puncher, or if he's a Technician. So I decide to U-turn as a safer play into my Muck. Because looking at his team, Muck doesn't have a whole lot of use against most of them. So I figure he is going to survive, so he's going to Spore Muck, and Muck's just going to take it and hang out for a second. So I see he has the Toxic Orb. So I know he is a Poison Heal Breloom as opposed to a Technician. And I decide to send out, I happen to be packing the ideal Breloom counter in Crobat because he's got a 4 times resistance to both of his stabs. He does fear a Stone Edge, but I'm willing to take that risk because I can always roost away if he does come at me. So I decide to get him with a Brave Bird just to break the sub, fearing a Focus Punch or something. But again, Crobat's double resistant to it, so even if it is a Mighty Focus Punch, he's not going to be taking that much damage. He comes at me with a Drain Punch. Which I don't know if he knew about the resistances or what, but didn't do a whole lot of damage, healed a little bit off. I'm assuming a switch at this point, but I think I figured to go at him anyway. Let me let the battle catch up here with all these special effects. He does bring out his Gliscor. I expected a switch just because of the double weakness that Breloom has. So I go for the Super Fang. It's going to take off half of Gliscor's life. I didn't want Gliscor to do any of his trickiness or anything like that, so I decided to taunt him, fearing a taunt or something from him. So he Stone Edges me. Luckily it missed. So I'm in good shape. I decide to switch out my Crobat for... I think this is actually my Zoroark. I can't remember. No, this is actually my Nidoking. And he decides, because I was fearing another Stone Edge, and Nidoking resists it, so I figure it's a good time to get Nidoking back in the game. He makes a great call and decides to switch to Acrobatics, switch powered up with the Flying Gem. That's going to hit Nidoking really hard. Manages to one-shot him before Nidoking can do anything. So I send out my Toxicroak on this one. This is not my Zoroark, this is actually my Toxicroak. He brings in his Infernape. I was expecting a... I don't know what I was expecting. I figured I'd just come at him with an Ice Punch, so I managed to Ice Punch the Infernape. Does a decent chunk of damage considering it's resisted. So he comes at me with Close Combat, which I wasn't sure why he did that. Toxicroak resists it. It only does half damage to him. His defenses are going to be lowered. It allows me to basically set up a free substitute here. And again, I see here that he's Life Orbed, which is interesting. If he would have had a Focus Sash, it wouldn't have mattered because he'd already taken damage, but it gives me a better idea of what his set is. So Toxicroak's hanging out behind a sub, which is always great for Toxicroak because he hits like a truck with Focus Punch. Goes for a U-turn, which is a great move for me against Toxicroak because Toxicroak is double resistant to it. He's got a 4 times resistance against Bug. So the substitute actually survives this. Now I was expecting a Gengar. He knows I'm using Focus Punch, so I was expecting a Gengar to come in, just to at least get free miss on this one, but he actually sends in his Metagross. So the Focus Punch, we already saw this from the previous battle, the Focus Punch is going to do a little bit more than half damage to Metagross, even though it's neutral and Metagross's defense is high. And Toxicroak does still have the substitute up, which means he's going to get another one in for free. The Metagross is going to heal off a little with his leftovers. So we got the Focus Punch coming, and I don't know why he did this, he went for the Stealth Rocks, which I thought was a very interesting choice. Usually a rule of thumb is if your opponent has a substitute up, you need to break it as soon as possible. So Toxicroak is going to get another free Focus Punch, Metagross is going to fall, Toxicroak still has a substitute up, so he's still in great shape. He's going to be doing big damage to whatever Dryadne tries to send in. So at this point, I don't know what he's going to send out at this point. He decides to send out his Tyranitar, which is, frankly, is a terrible decision. And I don't feel bad about saying that because he immediately recognized it after what happens here. Because Toxicroak get another free Focus Punch. He's going to manage to break the sub, but at this point, I don't really care. Tyranitar is going to eat a ×4 Focus Punch from Toxicroak. So you saw how much damage Toxicroak did on a neutral Metagross. Basically multiply that by 4, and that's the damage that you're going to see here. Even if he did have a Focus Sash, Toxicroak would have been able to outspeed him easily and hit him with an Ice Punch, but it didn't come to that. So Tyranitar goes down in one shot. He only able to break the sub, and Toxicroak is living large right now. Just cleaning up, doing a lot of sweeping work, despite he only used Substitute once, and he's managed to take out 2 Pokemon from full health. So he sends out his Gliscor. I'm feeling pretty cocky right now. I decide to come at him with an Ice Punch. He's actually faster than I am. So Toxicroak's going to fall here against a super effective Acrobatics. But he, like I said, he takes down 2 Pokemon from full health, so he's paid his dues already. So I send out, I believe this is my Zoroark here. This isn't my Crobat. Just because Crobat had already come in against Gliscor and didn't really fear him, so I figured I'm just going to come at him. He's going to assume, I think, that this is Crobat when it's actually Zoroark, so Gliscor's going to fall pretty fast. We saw that Zoroark did almost full health damage to him last time. So he's going to send out his Infernape. I know he resists the Night Daze. I might have been able to kill him just because his defenses are so low, but I'm not going to risk it. I've got a free Sleepy Muck here to take whatever he sends at me. He goes for a close combat. I think he expected my Zoroark to stay in, or at least he wanted to get rid of him as soon as possible. But his defenses are going to lower. He's going to take Life Orb damage. Muck's just going to hang out. I don't necessarily mind. I know I have Crobat waiting in the wings for his Breloom if it does come to that. So I'm just going to let Muck sit in here and just take a nap and chill. He comes at me with an Overheat. I'm actually rooting for Muck to fall at this point so I can send in a Revenge Pokemon to take out his Infernape. He actually manages to survive, which really surprised me. But Infernape's special attack is cut in half now, loses Life Orb damage. Thankfully, with the Sandstorm up, I'm able to get my wish. Infernape takes a little more damage, and Muck is going to fall to the sand. So, wish granted on this one. Muck has been taken care of. So I send out my... This is my Zoroark again, I believe. Because I know what he's got left. So I decide to Night Daze. I make a minor mistake here. I should have gone for the Flamethrower. It would have ended up knocking out Infernape anyway because his defenses had been dropped from the close combat, and I would have been in better shape against both Breloom and Gengar still to come. But it's okay. Infernape has fallen. He sends out his Breloom. I fear a Spore, so I'm going to come right at him. I don't care. If he's going to knock me out, then that's how it's going to be, because I know Breloom will fall easily to my real Crobat. So he actually does come at me, which I guess it makes sense against Zoroark. If I had switched, he would have been in pretty bad shape. But Zoroark's going to fall here. He's going to heal off a good chunk of health on this one. But Zoroark did a pretty good job of fooling Dryadne here throughout most of the battle. So at this point, I'm in very good shape. I've got Crobat and Drapion still alive. Crobat's going to outspeed both of his Pokemon. Breloom's going to fall in one shot anyway. We saw what Crobat did in the last video against Gengar. He almost one-shotted him. So he makes an interesting play and switches to Gengar. I personally would have sacrificed Breloom at this point, just because you know you're going to lose one Pokemon, since Crobat is faster. But he sends out Gengar. Gengar takes a huge chunk of damage. I wasn't sure, he might have even... I was kind of hoping he would lose to the Sandstorm damage, but he survives with a sliver of health left. Not a big deal. Crobat's faster than he is anyway. He's going to finish him off with a Brave Bird here, which means the only Pokemon he's got left is Breloom, who with a 4x weakness to Brave Bird will also fall as well. So you'll see that shortly. So another good match, Dryadne. We're learning a lot about each other's teams and what they're capable of, and I made some mistakes, he made some mistakes. So next time the battle's going to be even more exciting than this one. This was a pretty exciting battle. So Also, with the next battle we have, hopefully I'll have my replacement Pokemon for the month out there. But we'll see how that goes. I'm still in the process of leveling, and I need to get him his item, which for the moment I will leave a mystery. But good game, and I'll see y'all next time.